Welcome to the Other Side of the Page, a bookish podcast where we yap about the books we love
and the songs that give us main character energy.
We're here to sift through the chaos that is our TBR.
And to let you know why a book might just be your next favorite read.
I'm Britt, dramatic plot twist lover and champion for MMCs needing to be more pathetic and down bad.
And I'm Hannah, reader of at least 5 books at once and a detailed fantasy map enthusiast.
Every Wednesday, press play on a brand new bookish episode.
Stay up to date with the books we'll be covering by following us on social media at othersideofthepagepod over on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads.
And don't forget to follow, rate, and review the podcast a shining 5 stars on your preferred platform because it helps us so much with visibility.
Yes. For this Look What You Made Me Read episode, I got to pick a book for Britt to read, and I chose Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke.
So she did pick this for me, and if you listened to last week's episode, you know that I was basically held hostage in order to read this book, and I'm very glad that I did. So we're going to be doing a very brief plot overview going into why Hannah chose this for me, some of our thoughts along the way, and also revealing a song choice. So grab an iced coffee.
Or iced chai.
And let's turn the page together.
Yes. Dear reader, here is the synopsis from the inside cover.
Yes.
Yes, if you are watching this episode, look how gorgeous the UK cover is.
Okay, yes. It's beautiful because I have the US cover from my Book of the Month subscription, and it's cool, but like the UK cover is superior in my humble opinion.
Yes. All right. So, Natalie lives a perfect life, traditional lifestyle, and her followers are sick with envy. Her charming farmhouse on her working ranch is artfully cluttered. Her husband is a handsome cowboy, and her homemade sourdough rolls are each more beautiful than the last. So what if there are nannies and producers and industrial-grade ovens behind the scenes? What her followers don't know won't hurt them. Then one morning, Natalie wakes up in her strange, horrible version of reality. Her home, her husband, her children, they're all familiar, but something's off. Is this a hoax, a reality show, a test from God? Natalie knows just 2 things for sure. This isn't her perfect life. She must escape by any means.
Mm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
And we think you should read this book because I'm just going to read this part right here because it is it's as darkly funny as it is shocking and gripping. So if you want something funny and shocking, Yesteryear is an electrifying examination of tradition, fame, faith, and the grand performance of womanhood.
Yes.
So,
now,
if you want that trad wife doom scrolling feeling, that I'll talk about a little bit later, but that's how it feels.
I love that. Now, we think that you might want to avoid Yesteryear if any of the following are potentially triggering for you. There's graphic domestic abuse, there's rape, child abuse, animal cruelty and death, religious bigotry, religious trauma, misogyny. There's a whole slew of... It is a satirical approach to trad wife traditions and, you know, the traditional family and things like that. But it could be really triggering. Specifically, there is a scene that people felt... I did see this on Threads, that people felt ill prepared for, and it was like a marital assault scene. So just be warned going in that if that's something that could be triggering for you, to just dive a little bit deeper before you head into the book. And now we have our song choices. So Hannah, what song did you pick for Yesteryear?
I picked National Anthem by Lana Del Rey.
Love that. I picked Good Wife by Casey Musgraves.
Such a good song.
All right, now we're heading into our Pages Turned and Bridges Burned section. We will be discussing this book cover to cover. However, we're not going into depth like we do for our long story short episodes. So this probably will be jumping all over the place a little bit more than we usually do. So if you have not read Yesteryear, which I think, you know, we'll talk about it at the end, but I think that this is a very polarizing book. A lot of people either love it or a lot of people kind of hate it. And I think that good fiction can be polarizing. And I love that it's, you know, stirring up a conversation. But this is your fair warning that everything that happens in the book is going to be discussed here.
It's fair game. Yes.
It's fair game. So, but first we're going to start with our theme lyrics. So we're going to pick, you know, our theme lyrics and explain why we chose the song we did.
Yes. The theme lyric that kind of popped out to me, and I had a couple Lana Del Rey songs I was like floating around with.
Yeah.
But the one I chose, the lyric I chose from this song is, blurring the lines between real and the fake, dark and lonely, I need somebody to hold me. He will do very well. I can tell. And I feel like this is like Natalie's life where she, you know, gets to the point, and we said spoilers, right?
Yeah.
Of like what's real and what's fake, because, you know, the whole book, you're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, literally
She's in
what's
the
happening.
1800s.
Yeah.
But really it's real, but it's like a fake
But it's like a
lifestyle that she pushed through.
yes.
So that's where like it kind of came to me there. And then like Dark and Lonely, I Need Somebody to Hold Me is like, I feel like Natalie's whole life. Like she like puts on this persona that she's like, you know, the internet loves me, but really on the inside, like she is lonely and like lost. And,
Yeah.
you know, she's like, oh, I guess Caleb will do. Like he'll do very well. Like
Yeah.
I'll stick with him. We'll figure it out.
Love
I'll
that.
talk about the other part later.
Perfect. And then my theme lyric is, I mean, the whole song I thought was just like a pretty nail on the head situation.
It's a very like you should watch the music video too.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Side note, when Casey Musgrave released this album, she released like a visual album with it. So like
that
was playing in certain theaters. So me and my friend Taylor went to the movies and like saw the whole album.
Yeah.
Like with the videos, and it was really cool. And like this video, like you should watch it. It's very like trad wife. Like
I will definitely watch it because the line that I pulled from the song, or the lines rather, are God help me be a good wife because he needs me. Even when he's not right, he still needs me. And it to me felt so Natalie coded. The God help me be a good wife.
I know. I'm mad. I didn't think about it.
Even though my husband is a dirty man child who can't do anything on his own. He reminded me, did you watch Parks and Rec?
Kind of.
Do you remember Bobby Newport?
No.
You guys, please someone help me. If you watch Parks and Rec, please tell me that Caleb reminds you of Bobby Newport. Bobby Newport runs against Leslie Knope for for city council. And he is the son of a billionaire, and he gets whatever he wants, and he like, you know, I want it. It's mine.
That sounds like Caleb.
Yeah, very man-child coded. So he just reminded me of Bobby Newport. And I just imagined Natalie this entire time being like, God, give me the strength to not murder my stupid husband. And that's where, you know, this song came from. So
yep.
I love that. I'll probably pluck out a couple more lyrics as we go, but I want to know specifically why for a Look What You Made Me Read, because we've done one of these before where we picked for each other. So I'm super curious why this book.
So I think before reading this book, we were like, oh, we read the description. We're like, oh, this would be a perfect like episode to talk about.
Yeah.
But then I read it because my one of my best friends, Becca, told me to run and get this one off NetGalley when it was a read now. And I read it so quickly and I was sold. And like it just felt like a night of doom scrolling, but I was reading. Like that's like how I compare it, which makes it better, right? Because I was reading, not doom scrolling.
Yeah.
But when I finished it and like how it ended, I was kind of unsure if it would be like something that Britt would actually pick up for herself.
Yeah.
Because it does give off like the cool weird girl vibes with like the satire and everything there. But I feel like it does lean more like lit fic, like overall.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how can I make sure Britt reads this book and we talk about it? And I was like, perfect. We have an open slot for Look What You Made Me Read. When it comes out, you're reading it. So here we are.
Yep. I love it. Now.
All right. So let's start at the end because we already warned you about spoilers, but we'll warn you again because if you read this far or if you've listened this far and you haven't read the book, I don't know what you're doing. Just welcome. But if you have read, welcome as well. But I will say like WTF, like the ending of this book. And I didn't really know much going into it. Like I read the synopsis, but like nobody had really read it. So like I didn't know what it is. And I didn't look at like the genres. So I was kind of hoping for more of a sci-fi time travel explanation.
Yeah.
But I think it's also because I've read more sci-fi this year.
Yeah.
But I think the ending was way worse.
100%.
Because I can't believe she like forced her family and that like Caleb's family and her family allowed them
to do this,
to live like that,
to like they pushed it so far. And I will say I was a little confused at the end, and I think I did do this one on audio, so I think that might have been, there was a lot that happened in that last chunk of time. And I was like, wait a minute, we're blending the 1800s with reality. We're doing this. And then there are kids that were here now that were not there in the present before. Like it felt like a lot happening. I digested it though. That is crazy. That is wacky.
Yeah. That
Um,
like
in like a
Mary, like the oldest kid in the 1800s, quote 1800s,
yeah,
was like the one that she was pregnant with
yes,
in like the real time.
yep.
And like, oh, it just like breaks my heart for those kids. And I'm like
I
so
know.
thankful that like the oldest girl, Clementine, was like,
Yeah,
I'm coming.
it reminded me a lot of. I think that she did like a deep dive on like Ballerina Farm, and I think that that was
Mm-hmm.
like part of that situation. But
And like Ruby Frankie too.
I
I
was just
think
going to say,
that,
it
yeah.
reminded me of Ruby Frankie. It reminded me
Mm-hmm.
of the kids kind of being locked away. And I know they weren't doing the full traditional thing, but it was when Ruby would be like, shut up, I'm on camera. And like the kids are sitting there and they're just like, oh my God. And I think that the ending fit the story really well. I think it was a little bit of whiplash, but I think that it worked so brilliantly for the story itself. Yeah, I thought it was a wild ending, but I thought it was really appropriate for everything that we went through. And there was something about like we talk about it a little bit here, but her voice, like this was a main character that was intentionally insufferable. And we have talked a bit about it before, both off the podcast and on the podcast, about how female main characters tend to be like put down a lot more than male main characters. Like women's traits due to like internalized misogyny or in the patriarchy, whatever we want to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
tend to be people are hypercritical of the things that female main characters do, that they like let men get away with fucking murder, right?
Yeah.
But Natalie was intentionally insufferable to play into the satirical hand of an exacerbated version of the trad wife. And what I
Mm-hmm.
loved was the commentary of, you know, these trad wife influencers are selling you a lifestyle that they are not abiding by, because true trad wives cannot exist in the online space, because
Mm-hmm.
when they become a trad wife influencer, when they're doing these things, creating content, having brand deals, they are working. They
Yeah.
are providing for their families, which is
Mm-hmm.
not something that you can do if you're truly abiding by the traditional method where the
Yeah.
man is the provider and the woman takes care of the children. And I it reminded me of a non-cannibalistic version of Girl Dinner by Olivia Blake, and
Mm-hmm.
just in the way that the satire was handled. So I really loved that like weird girl side of things. It
Yeah.
was something that like, it's one of those books that I say this in a very non-derogatory way, that it was a complete train wreck that you couldn't look away from.
Mm-hmm. That's what I meant by like doom scrolling. Like it was
Yes.
like I couldn't like stop
Yes.
reading because I was just like, what?
Like
What?
yes.
What? Like I just I think I was like texting Fred along the way, just like, I can't wait for you to read this because
A
I
hundred
need to like
percent.
talk to somebody about it. And Britt connected me with like one of her like writer friends, author friends that like read it because at that time, like I knew nobody that had read it.
Yeah.
And like now I think more people read it and we'll kind of see what it comes out of that. But one part I'd like to get your thoughts on
Yeah.
is like, what did you think about like the assistant, the one that came out and said she was like sexually assaulted and everything? Like,
Yeah.
what did you think of that storyline?
So it I was suspicious of her the minute she stepped into Yesteryear. And I think that might be the thriller and horror lover in me, where I usually assume like malintent
Mm-hmm.
of characters like that. And I had a weird feeling about her because like she didn't align with the behavior, she didn't align with
Yeah.
the values. So I had a feeling something like that would happen. But what I didn't expect was like how it came out in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we cannot trust the account of Natalie.
Yeah.
This is when we talk about, there are so many times that we call a narrator unreliable that it probably is not truly an unreliable narrator. Natalie is a wholly selfish, completely narcissistic, unreliable narrator. um
Mm-hmm.
like there was a moment that kind of ties into my thought with this, where the first scene that made my jaw drop was when she went to the store and she was running out of Whole Foods. She had a fan meet her, was so excited, gets back to the car, and her daughter is screaming in the car. And the woman goes, "You left your child in your car?" And she's like, "I was just running inside for a brief moment. And there had been a lot of little things, obviously, but that was the first time I went, oh, she is an unfit fucking mother. Like, this woman is not a fit mother. And from that moment on, everything she said and did in her accounts, it was like, do I believe her? Like, what's happening? But then we had the abuse from Caleb in the 1800s and like all of this stuff, like when her foot got caught in the bear trap and like all of this crazy shit. But I think it all ties back to the assistant moment where like she came in and I was so weary of it because I just didn't believe Natalie's account of things. And I had this like weird gut feeling about her. Her name is Shannon, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just had this weird gut reaction to her. But I also believe that as like a viable plot line for what happened, given how things unfold. And I'm not saying I don't want to be like, you know, this she was not a victim in this situation, because obviously like things happened to her behind the scenes that like we never will know for sure. I mean, she was tried to, you know, Natalie did try to strangle her to death, which was super cute and fun. But
I just like, I think it also ties into like Caleb is just also horrible. Like, okay, so he cheated on her with, you know, this girl.
Yeah.
And then I just don't understand how he like let things happen. Like, why wasn't Natalie like taken away?
Yeah.
Like, where's CPS? Like, where, like,
but
can't she go, like, I don't know. It just,
it shows how truly detached and aloof that man was from his life. Like, if his head was not attached to his body, he would have never found it. Like, and he is, I really like, I'm going to send you a compilation of Bobby Newport. So, like, and I'm sure you'll see, he was played by Paul Rudd. And when I tell you, man, that's all I could picture during it. But he really, like, he was coddled by his family. And he,
like, I just like when Clementine was like born and now it's like, you need to get a fucking job. And he's like, I wish I could just play with kids all day. And he's like, goes to his old school. And then he's like, oh, they're looking for a kindergarten teacher. I can be a kindergarten teacher. Now he's like, what?
Like,
I'm just like, oh my gosh, Caleb. It's just, I don't know. It was a lot, but I'm so glad that you read it and we got to like discuss it, because it's just one of those books that if you do vibe with it, even if you don't vibe with it, it's like you want to talk about it. And I feel like that was
such a good point. Discussion. Yeah, it is a true book club book, in my opinion. Like, it's going to be one of those book club books that you sit around with in your circle, and half of the people in your club loved it, half of them hated it, and there's one or two in the middle that can see both sides. Like, you know,
I'm so bummed. Like, my book club, I should have hosted it, but my next 2 months are crazy.
Yeah,
but they're doing it on a night that I work, and I'm so interested to see what they think, because I'm gonna like put my like rating as 5 stars in there, and like because they rate it and they see, and I'm like
curious.
We'll see what they think. I might be the odd one out because
it is polarizing. But I really loved this, like the overall like societal commentary behind it. I'm glad that I read it, because I think that reading books outside of like your preferred genres and stuff like that can really expand your horizons. But yeah, no, I literally couldn't put it down. There were so many scenes that like had me like shook to my very core. Like when she was doing like scrubbing the laundry in the 1800s, like when it was freezing outside, and like the way that she was just talking about how many cows they had lost, and like the pesticides barrels that they were hiding on the farm, and all of this stuff. And I also thought, before we sign off here, the manosphere influencer who like had her account kind of pop off, like that to me was so indicative of where we are societally. Like, it really, as wild as this is, I was like, yeah, this is happening regularly.
I know. It just made you like question. It made me think about like all these influencers, right? And like I try to think about that all the time too. Like, is this person trying to sell me something? Like, what is
what type of content am I consuming? And like, are they practicing their lifestyle, like, or are they just selling me a lifestyle? And a lot of the trad wife influencers, the ones who are selling you this like clean, crunchy lifestyle, are shilling products most of the time that are not like, I'm so sorry, your 12-step vitamin routine is not part of this lifestyle that you're selling me.
No. And I think that's why too, like, we like shows like Secret Life of Mormon Wives, because it's just like it gives you that like look behind the scenes. And I just think Natalie would fit so well with them because
100%.
they just think about like their next deal and what they're gonna do here, and they need this. And I just feel like,
and you can't look away.
That fakeness, it just is with that. And so
Yeah.
I think that's a vibe.
Anyway, this was a wild ride. Like I said, I'm so glad that I read it. It's one of those books that, I'm going to be careful of who I recommend it to, but I do think there are people I will recommend it to.
Yes.
So,
but thank you all for turning the pages with us this week. And I hope that some of you read this book just because we read it. So be sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, and join our newsletter to keep up with everything on the other side of the page.
Yes, and please drop a review and a 5-star rating of the podcast on your preferred platform and share us with your bookish besties. So forever and always,
keep reading with kindness.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.